Oh my God, that's a wrong number.
The knocking wouldn't stop. 3 sharp raps, a pause, then 3 more. It was 2 in the morning, and someone was at my door, with the kind of persistence that made my stomach drop. I pulled my robe tighter and crept toward the peephole, my phone clutched in my sweaty palm. Through the distorted glass, I saw him. Tall, impossibly well-dressed in a black suit that probably cost more than my rent, with sharp features and eyes that seemed to look right through the door and into my soul. Behind him, I could make out the silhouettes of 2 black SUVs parked on my street, engines running. This was him. The man I'd been texting for the past 6 hours. The man who'd sent me a photo of my own apartment building an hour ago. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. 3 more knocks. Patient. Deliberate. Terrifying. I should call the police. I should scream. I should do anything except what I was about to do. I opened the door. Welcome to Afro K Love Stories. 1 of the best ways to support us in creating emotional, inspiring love stories is through your likes and subscriptions. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment where you're watching from. And let me know what kind of story you'd love to hear next. Now, let me take you back to where this all started, 6 hours before that knock on Olivia's door. 6 hours earlier, Olivia was drunk. Not falling down drunk, but that perfect level of tipsy where everything seemed like a good idea, and consequences were just abstract concepts that happened to other people. She was sprawled across her bed, still in her going-out dress from girls' night, scrolling through her phone with one eye closed to stop the room from spinning. Keisha had dropped her off 20 minutes ago with the usual warnings about drinking water and not doing anything stupid. Too late for that. Olivia pulled up her messages and found Michael's name. Michael from the gym. Michael, with the perfect smile and those arms that made her forget how to count reps. Michael, who'd been flirting with her for 3 weeks, but hadn't asked her out yet. Well, maybe he just needed a little encouragement. Her fingers moved across the screen with the false confidence that only alcohol can provide. Hey, I know it's late, but I can't stop thinking about you. I'm tired of playing games. You feel this thing between us too, right? Because I do, and I think we should stop pretending we don't. She hit send before she could overthink it, then immediately threw her phone across the bed like it was on fire. What had she done? Oh God, what had she done? Her phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Olivia lunged for it. But when she looked at the screen, the response made her blood run cold. You have the wrong number, but I'm very interested in who you think I am. That wasn't Michael's style. Michael used emojis and casual language. This was formal, cold, and somehow threatening despite being perfectly polite. Olivia's stomach dropped as she clicked on the contact. The name said Michael, but when she looked at the num, she saw the last digit was a 7, not a 4. She'd texted a complete stranger. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. I meant to text someone else. Please just delete that and forget this ever happened. The response came within seconds. Delete it? When it's the most honest thing anyone has said to me in years? I don't think so. Tell me, brave stranger, what makes you so tired of playing games? Olivia stared at the message. This wasn't how strangers responded to accidental texts. Normal people would laugh it off, maybe make a joke, then move on. But this person was engaging, pushing, and asking questions. Look, I said I'm sorry. Can we just pretend this never happened? No. Just that. One word. No explanation. Just a flat refusal that made her chest tighten with something between fear and curiosity. Against her better judgment, she typed back, "Why not? Because you interest me." It's not often someone is so fearlessly honest. Most people in my life are too afraid to tell me the truth about anything. But you just put your heart out there, without hesitation. That takes courage. Olivia sat up straighter, her drunken haze starting to clear. There was something off about this conversation that made the hair on the back of her neck stand up. Who are you? Does it matter? We're strangers having an honest conversation at 2 in the morning. Isn't that what you wanted? Connection without games? He had a point. Damn him. And despite every self-preservation instinct screaming at her to stop, Olivia found herself typing again. I guess. But this is weird, right? Like, this doesn't happen in real life. Maybe it should happen more often. Tell me about yourself, fearless stranger. And somehow, impossibly, she did. Maybe it was the alcohol still in her system, or maybe it was the anonymity of texting a stranger in the dark. But Olivia started talking. She told him about her job as a nurse, about the exhaustion and the beauty of helping people, about feeling invisible, sometimes in a world that didn't always see her. She told him about her family back in Atlanta, about missing her grandmother's cooking, about the dreams she had that felt too big for her small apartment. And he listened. Or at least, he responded in ways that made her feel heard. You're not invisible, he typed. People who change lives never are. Even if they don't see it themselves. That's easy to say when you don't know me. I'm getting to know you. And from what I see, you're someone who takes risks. You texted your crush because you were brave enough to want more than the game. That's not invisible. That's powerful. Olivia's heart did something complicated in her chest. Okay. Stranger. Your turn. Who are you? What do you do? The pause before his response was longer this time. I run a business. Import and export, mostly. It's complicated and not very interesting. Everything is interesting at 2 in the morning. What kind of imports? Various things. Art, antiques, specialty items. Like I said, complicated. Something about his vagueness set off alarm bells. But Olivia was too caught up in the strange intimacy of their conversation to pay attention. They texted for another hour. He asked about her favorite foods, her fears, her hopes. She asked about his life, though his answers were always careful, revealing just enough to keep her engaged but never quite enough to satisfy her curiosity. Then, at 3:30 in the morning, everything changed. I want to see you. Olivia's breath caught. What? No. We don't even know each other. But we do. I know you're brave, honest, and tired of being invisible. I know you have dreams bigger than your current life. I know you're not afraid to take risks when something matters to you. That's not the same as knowing someone. Then let me know you better. Have dinner with me. I don't even know your name. Hyun Woo. And you are? Olivia hesitated. Giving her name felt like crossing a line she couldn't uncross. Olivia. Beautiful. It suits you. You don't even know what I look like. His response made her phone slip in her hands. Don't I? Before she could process what that meant, another message came through. It was a photo of her apartment building, taken from the street. Taken recently because she could see her living room light on in the window of her third-floor apartment. Olivia's blood turned to ice. She jumped off her bed, ran to the window, and yanked the curtain aside. The street below was empty, except for parked cars and the orange glow of streetlights. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely type. How did you get that? Are you watching me? What the hell is this? Don't be afraid. I just wanted to see if you were real. You are. More real than anything in my life has been for a long time. This isn't romantic. It's terrifying. You need to leave me alone. I will. After you hear me out. I'm not what you think, Olivia. I'm not some stalker or creep. But I am someone who recognized something rare when I saw it. And I don't let rare things slip away. You're insane. Perhaps. But you're still texting me instead of calling the police. So maybe you see it too. This connection. This thing that doesn't make sense but exists anyway. Olivia's finger hovered over the screen. He was right. She should have blocked him, called 911, done something rational. But she was still here, still engaged, still feeling that pull toward the unknown. One meeting, he typed. In public, wherever you choose. Let me explain who I am and why I had to see you. If after that you want me gone, I'll disappear. You'll never hear from me again. You have my word. The word of a stranger who stalked me. The word of a man who sees something worth risking everything for. Olivia closed her eyes. This was crazy. This was dangerous. This was everything her mother had warned her about. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. The coffee shop on 5th and Madison. And if you're 1 second late, I'm gone. Instead, she pulled up Keisha's contact and started typing. Her hands still trembling. Girl, I did something stupid. Keisha called immediately. Olivia? What happened? Are you okay? The whole story came pouring out. The drunk text, the stranger, the photo of her building. Keisha listened with increasingly alarmed sounds until Olivia finished. Absolutely not, Keisha said firmly. He showed up at your apartment, Liv. He took a picture of where you live. That's stalker behavior. And stalkers don't suddenly become Prince Charming over coffee. I'll be in public. You can come. With me. Sit at another table. Keep an eye out. Or, and here's a wild idea. You could block him. And maybe consider moving to a new apartment. Olivia sat on the edge of her bed, phone pressed to her ear, and realized she didn't have a good argument. Keisha was right. Everything about this screamed danger. But that strange pull wouldn't let go. 24 hours ago, Olivia said quietly, I was complaining about how nothing exciting ever happens to me. How I'm tired of the same routine, the same disappointments, the same safe choices that lead nowhere. So, you're going to get murdered to break up the monotony? I'm going to find out who he is. In a public place, with you watching. And if he's crazy, I walk away. But Keisha, what if he's not? What if this is one of those moments that changes everything? Keisha was quiet for a long moment. Tryman. Keisha was quiet. You really like this stranger, don't you? I don't even know him. That's not what I asked. Olivia thought about those texts. Text 10. I wrote 10. Text 10. About feeling seen in a way she hadn't in months, maybe years. About the thrill of the unknown, mixed with genuine curiosity about who could make her feel so much through a screen. I think I might. Then I'm definitely coming. And I'm bringing pepper spray. And my brother. And maybe a priest because clearly you're possessed. Despite everything, Olivia laughed. But that night, sleep wouldn't come. She lay in bed, curtains drawn tight, phone on her nightstand, and wondered what she'd gotten herself into. Every creak of the building made her jump. Every car passing outside made her heart race. At 7 a.m., unable to take it anymore, she texted him, "Why me? Out of all the wrong numbers in the world, why are you so interested in the person who accidentally texted you?" His response came 3 minutes later, which meant he'd been awake too. Because you reminded me what honesty sounds like. In my world, everyone wants something. Everyone has an angle. Everyone is playing a game. But your text, it was pure and real. You weren't trying to manipulate or impress anyone. You were just being human. I'd forgotten what that felt like. Your world? What does that mean? Come to coffee. Let me show you. The day crawled by. Olivia went through her shift at the hospital in a daze, checking her phone between patients, wondering if she should cancel, wondering if she'd lost her mind. At 5:30, she stood in front of her closet, changing outfits for the fourth time. Keisha sat on her bed, watching with concerned eyes. You know it's not too late to back out, right? I know. But you're going anyway. I am. Then at least wear the blue dress. If you're going to make questionable life choices, you might as well look good doing it. They arrived at the coffee shop at 5:45. Keisha positioned herself at a table by the window with a clear view of the entrance and Olivia's meeting spot. Her brother Marcus sat in his car outside, ready to intervene if things went south. Olivia ordered a green tea she didn't want and sat down at a corner table, her back to the wall, eyes on the door. At 5:58, a black SUV pulled up outside. At 5:59, the door opened. And at exactly 6 p.m., Hyun Woo walked in. Olivia forgot how to breathe. He was even more striking in person. Tall, with sharp features softened by surprisingly gentle eyes, dressed in dark slacks and a crisp white shirt that probably cost more than her car payment. He moved with the kind of confidence that came from never having to worry about whether he belonged somewhere. Their eyes met across the coffee shop, and Olivia felt that pull again. Stronger now. Almost magnetic. He walked over with measured steps, and when he stood in front of her table, he bowed slightly. Olivia. Hyun Woo. May I sit? She nodded, not trusting her voice. He sat down with fluid grace, folding his hands on the table between them. Up close, she could see faint scars on his knuckles, the kind that came from fighting, not accidents. Thank you for meeting me. You didn't leave me much choice. There's always a choice. You chose to be here. That means something. It means I'm curious. And maybe a little stupid. A smile ghosted across his lips. Honesty again. I appreciate that. So, explain. Who are you really? And don't give me that import-export line again. Hyun Woo was quiet for a moment, studying her face like he was memorizing it. I'm someone who lives in a world you shouldn't know about. Someone who makes decisions most people couldn't stomach. Someone who's built an empire on fear, respect, and power. Olivia's mouth went dry. You're a criminal. I prefer businessmen. But yes, by conventional standards, I operate outside the law. What kind of business? The kind that keeps certain parts of this city running smoothly. The kind that handles problems other people can't or won't. The kind that requires absolute loyalty and zero tolerance for betrayal. You're in the mafia. Korean organized crime. Yes. And before you run, let me tell you why I'm here. In my position, everyone lies. Everyone performs. Everyone shows me only what they think I want to see. But your text, it was raw and real and human. And when I responded, you didn't try to impress me or manipulate me. You just talked. Like I was a person, not a position. Do you understand how rare that is? Olivia's hands were shaking. She should leave. She should run and never look back. But his eyes held something she hadn't expected. Loneliness. So what? You're hoping I'll be your criminal girlfriend? I'm hoping you'll have dinner with me. Let me take you somewhere we can actually talk without your friend glaring daggers at me from across the room and your friend's brother sitting in that car outside ready to play hero. Olivia flushed. How did you? I'm very good at what I do. It's how I've stayed alive this long. This is insane. It is. I should leave. You should. But I'm not going to. That smile again. Warmer this time. No. I don't think you are. There's a Korean restaurant 3 blocks from here. My people own it. Which means it's safe. Private room. Excellent food. And I promise you'll leave whenever you want. Olivia, I'm not trying to trap you. I'm trying to know you. Against every instinct, every warning bell, every logical thought in her head, Olivia stood up. One dinner. And if I don't like what I hear, this ends. Fair enough. She walked over to Keisha's table, while Hyun Woo waited by the door. Liv, what are you doing? Something crazy. Stay close, okay? If I don't text you in 2 hours, call the police. I'm calling them now. Keisha. Please. Trust me. I trust you. It's him I don't trust. 2 hours. The restaurant was elegant, all dark wood and soft lighting. The owner greeted Hyun Woo with a deep bow and the kind of fear-tinged respect that confirmed everything he'd said. They were led to a private room with a low table and floor cushions. As they sat down, Olivia noticed the way everyone looked at Hyun Woo, with reverence, with fear, with the kind of careful attention people gave to dangerous predators. They're terrified of you. They're terrified of what I represent. The organization, the power, the consequences of disappointment. Doesn't that bother you? It used to. Now it's just the way things are. Food started arriving. Dish after dish of beautiful, aromatic Korean cuisine. Hyun Woo explained each one, his voice gentle, his manner surprisingly patient. You're not what I expected, Olivia said, picking up her chopsticks. What did you expect? Someone colder, crueler, more like the villains in movies. I can be those things when necessary. But tonight, with you, I'd rather just be Hyun Woo. Not the boss, not the businessman. Just a man having dinner with a fascinating woman. So he did. He told her about growing up in Seoul, about his father's organization, about having his path chosen before he was old enough to understand what it meant. He told her about the violence he'd witnessed, the choices he'd had to make, the weight of carrying so many lives in his hands. I'm 34 years old, he said quietly, and I've never had a conversation like the one we had last night. Never felt like someone saw me as anything other than what I could do for them or to them. That's sad. It's reality. But then you sent that text, meant for someone else. And for a few hours I got to be just a stranger, talking to another stranger. No expectations. No fear. No agenda. Just honesty. Olivia set down her chopsticks. I'm a nurse. Hyun Woo. I spend my days trying to save lives. You're telling me you're part of an organization that takes them. How is this supposed to work? I don't know. But I know I had to see you. I know that feeling I got reading your words is something I've been looking for my whole life without knowing it. I know that walking away from you feels like walking away from the last chance I'll ever have to be something other than what my father made me. Before Olivia could respond, the door burst open. 3 men rushed in, guns drawn. The first shot shattered a decorative vase. The second hit the wall above Hyun Woo's head. Everything happened in a blur. Hyun Woo moved faster than should have been possible, flipping the table and pulling Olivia behind it in one fluid motion. His body covered hers as more shots rang out. His hand pressed against her head, keeping her down. Olivia heard shouting in Korean. More gunshots. Then, sudden silence. When she dared to look up, 3 bodies lay on the floor, and Hyun Woo was holding a gun she hadn't seen him draw. His expression was cold, empty. Nothing like the gentle man who'd been explaining Korean food to her seconds ago. His phone rang. He answered in rapid Korean, his voice sharp and commanding, while keeping one hand on Olivia's shoulder. Then, slowly, his expression softened. He put the gun away and turned to her. Are you hurt? Olivia was shaking so hard she couldn't speak. She just shook her head. Come on. We need to leave. Now. He pulled her up gently but firmly, guiding her past the bodies, without letting her look too closely. Outside, more men in suits surrounded them, forming a protective barrier as they moved to the SUV. Olivia's mind couldn't process what had just happened. One moment they were talking about his lonely life. The next people were shooting at them. And now she was in a car speeding through the city with a man who'd just killed 3 people to protect her. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Those men were from a rival organization. They saw me with you. That makes you a target now. Oh God. Hey. He took her hand, and she was startled by how warm it was. I won't let anything happen to you. I promise. They ended up at a penthouse apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Hyun Woo guided her to a leather couch and wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. I'm sorry. I never should have brought you to the restaurant. I thought it would be safe, but I was wrong. Olivia looked at him. He'd just killed 3 men. She should be terrified. She should be calling the police. She should be demanding to go home. Instead, she said, You protected me. Of course I did. You could have been killed. Better me than you. We just met yesterday. And yet here we are. He sat down beside her, careful to maintain distance. Olivia, I can have my men take you home. I can arrange protection for you. Until I handle this situation. You never have to see me again if you don't want to. But I need you to know something first. What? In my entire life, I've never felt for anyone what I felt when those bullets started flying. And my only thought was keeping you safe. Not my business, not my reputation, not my own life. Just you. And I've known you for less than 24 hours. That should be impossible. Olivia's heart was pounding for entirely different reasons now. This is crazy. Completely. I should run away from you as fast as I can. You absolutely should. But I don't want to. His eyes widened slightly. Wherefore? Ardor. What? Tonight was the most terrified I've ever been, and also the most alive. You're dangerous and complicated, and everything I shouldn't want. But Hyun Woo, when you covered me with your body, without even thinking about it, when you looked at me after, like my safety mattered more than your own life, I've never had anyone look at me like that. Olivia, I'm not saying I'm jumping into this. I'm not saying I can accept what you do, or that this makes any sense. But I am saying I'm not ready to walk away. Not yet. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull back, and cupped her face in his hand. His touch was incredibly gentle for someone who'd been so brutal minutes ago. You're either very brave or very foolish. Maybe both. I can't promise you a normal life. I can't promise you safety or simplicity, or any of the things you deserve. That I will spend every day trying to be worthy of this chance. That I will protect you with everything I have. That I will never lie to you, even when the truth is ugly. And that whatever this is between us, I've never felt anything like it before, and I don't think I ever will again. Olivia leaned into his touch, her eyes closing for just a moment. This is going to be complicated. Impossibly so. My best friend is going to think I've lost my mind. She's probably not wrong. And you're going to have to make some changes if this is going to work. I can't be with someone who's constantly in danger, who's constantly putting me in danger. Hyun Woo nodded slowly. I've been thinking about that. About transitioning some of my responsibilities, stepping back from the frontline operations. It won't happen overnight, and it won't be easy. There will be people who see it as weakness. But if it means having a chance at something real, something that's mine and not my father's legacy, I'll find a way. I'm not asking you to give up everything. I'm not giving it up. I'm choosing something better. I'm choosing the possibility of a life that doesn't end in blood and betrayal. I'm choosing you, if you'll have me. Olivia opened her eyes and found him looking at her with such raw vulnerability that it took her breath away. One drunk text changed my entire life. Best wrong number I ever answered. She laughed, surprising herself. After everything that had happened, she was laughing in the arms of a man who probably shouldn't exist in her world at all. But maybe that was the point. Maybe life wasn't about staying in your safe little box, following the rules, playing it smart. Maybe sometimes the most important moments came from the mistakes, the accidents, the moments when you said yes to something terrifying and impossible. "So what happens now?" she asked. "Now I make sure you're safe. I deal with the people who threatened you. And then, if you're willing, we figure out how to make this work. One day at a time. One honest conversation at a time. And if it doesn't work, then at least we tried. At least we were brave enough to see what this could be." Olivia looked out at the city lights, then back at Hyun Woo. His hand was still on her face, his thumb gently stroking her cheek. In his eyes, she saw possibility. Danger. Yes. But also something she'd been looking for without knowing it. Someone who saw her completely and wanted her anyway. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's try." He smiled then, and it transformed his entire face. For just a moment, he wasn't a mafia boss or a dangerous criminal. He was just a man who'd found something unexpected and precious and was determined not to let it go. Over the next 2 weeks, Olivia learned what it meant to exist in Hyun Woo's world. He kept her safe with discreet security she barely noticed. He called every day, sometimes just to hear her voice. He sent flowers to the hospital with notes that made her smile, even during the hardest shifts. And slowly, carefully, he started making changes, restructuring his organization, delegating dangerous operations, pulling back from the violence that had defined his life. It wasn't easy. There were challenges from within his organization, threats from rivals who saw his transformation as weakness. But every time things got difficult, Olivia was there. Not to change him or fix him, but to remind him why he was making these choices, to show him that there was something worth fighting for beyond power and control. 3 weeks after that first drunk text, they had their first real date. Not in a private room or a safe house, but at a regular restaurant, like regular people. Hyun Woo was nervous in a way that was endearing, like he'd forgotten how to be normal. "This is strange," he admitted over dinner. "What is? Being out like this, being just us, no bodyguards hovering, no business to discuss, just dinner and conversation. This is what regular relationships look like. I think I like it." "You think? Okay. I definitely like it. Even if I have no idea what I'm doing." Olivia reached across the table and took his hand. "Neither do I. We're figuring it out together. That's what makes it real." And it was real. Complicated, messy, sometimes scary, but real. They came from different worlds, different cultures, different lives entirely. But in those quiet moments between the chaos, they found something neither had expected. Home. Keisha eventually came around, though it took several supervised meetings and Hyun Woo's genuine commitment to changing his life. Marcus remained suspicious, but protective. Olivia's mother, when she finally met him, declared him too pretty to be trustworthy, but also respectful enough to earn a chance. The path wasn't smooth. There were setbacks and dangers and moments when Olivia wondered if she'd made the right choice. But every time doubt crept in, Hyun Woo proved himself. Not with grand gestures or empty promises, but with consistent action, honest communication, and a commitment to building something better. 6 months after that drunk text, they stood on the balcony of his penthouse. The city spread out below them like a carpet of lights. "Do you ever regret it?" Hyun Woo asked. "Texting the wrong number?" Olivia thought about it. About the fear, and the danger, and the impossibility of their situation. But she also thought about the way he looked at her, the way he'd changed his entire life for a chance at something real, the way he made her feel seen and valued and precious. Not even for a second Good. Because I plan to spend the rest of my life making sure you never do. He kissed her then, soft and sweet, and Olivia thought about how strange life was. How one moment of drunk courage, one mistaken message, one wrong number could lead to this. To love in the most unexpected place, with the most unexpected person. Sometimes, the best things in life happen by accident. Sometimes, courage looks like saying yes to something terrifying. And sometimes the person you're meant to find is exactly the person you never thought you'd meet. All because of one text, sent to the wrong number, at exactly the right time.